Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for listening. Ndo zvazvinoitaka tichifamba takadaro pachirongwa chako cheThe Men's Corner. My name is DJ Sodza. Mutarawo yanga ndiri kuno kuHamberside muUnited Kingdom. I hope kuti muri kutinzwa zvakanaka kumativi mana ese enyika kwamuri ikoko. Now, last week we discussed quite a few things, and it was interesting to hear people, being very passionate about the topic that we were talking about last week. Vana vane autism, my parents that went a step further and open a school for autistic kids there, which is quite a good project, and we endeavor to bring them pano pasho kuti tinzwe kuti vari kuzvifambisa sei, and if we can help in any way. Right. Zvandakuita panapa Zimbabwe. Let me introduce vatinawo nhasi pachirongwa apa kuti tifambe takadaro. Mukoma Wilbert, a very good evening to you, sir.
Hello, DJ. Hello, everybody. How are you? And all Zimbabweans, wherever you are. Hope you're having a wonderful time.
Thank you so much. Let me welcome you, Mkoma Benford.
Tichiti pamwe mhuri yeZimbabwe. Inoda kuti tichava nechirongwa chakanaka.
Thank you so much. Sally, welcome to the show there.
Good evening, DJ Sodza. Good evening, Benford. Good evening, Wilbert. Good evening, my Sekuru. And good evening, Zimbabweans, wherever you are. I hope you're going to join us on the show tonight. It's going to be a good show. And I hope you all in Cape Town, I hope you're all warm. It's freezing. Stay inside, keep warm. Thank you, DJ Sodza.
Okay, thank you so much there, Sally. Sekuru maswera siko ku Birmingham.
Tamboswera rugare kwamuri vana veZimbabwe.
Thank you so much. Mbuya uri sei Sekuru? Vavata aiwa anoregai vazorore.
Really see kwenyu.
Aiwa kuno kuti tii Sekuru. Tete no Mazulu, welcome to the show. How are you there in Germany?
Thank you very much, DJ. I greet everybody in the panel, and also I greet everybody around the world who are in this program tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mkoma Zokora, the chief sose kauba. Aiwa, toti chief sose. Makadi niko chief sose.
Amore mukadaro mandipasa manyemwe. Renge mandipasa manyemwe mukadaro nezita rangu chaira kuti chief. Makadi DJ Sodza, how are you all the panelists present today? Makadi muri Zimbabwe yakapararira nyika kudai. Tinokuchingamidza ine mufaro mukuru nhasi.
Aiwa, thank you so much. Ndakamirira zvangu vamwe vari kuuya kuzotijoina pachirongwa. Andisiuza kuti Tete no Mazulu.
Hello.
I don't know, tiri kunzwa a little bit of noise coming from there. I don't know, can you do something about it or not?
There is no noise whatsoever.
Oh, all right. Yeah, okay. Maybe something.
Everything is switched off.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. It looks like it's fine now, actually. Thank you for that. Right. Again, did I so? Vapepe maswera seigwa.
Dasara DJ.
Kuriseiko kunobviwa.
Ayo akuna ku right zvako. Amena kwenyu ikoko.
Ayo akuna kuri nani. It's good to have you on the show.
My pleasure.
Right. Now, Zimbabwe, there's a lot of things that are happening back home. People are gearing up for the upcoming general election next year. And I'm sure over the next 12 months or so, we will be discussing all these issues and the announcements that will be coming out of Zimbabwe there. Only this week we have had Fadzayi Mahere coming out and say that she's going to represent Mount Pleasant as an independent candidate, in the next year election. She's saying that she's passionate about Mount Pleasant. She lives in Mount Pleasant. She was born in Mount Pleasant and she grew up in Mount Pleasant. She went to school in Mount Pleasant, so she wants to do better there. But some people are saying, well, this is a refreshing, basically, in terms of our politics. A young, intelligent young woman coming up and throwing her name into the hat. People are saying that this is refreshing for our politics of Zimbabwe. Not to have all these 70, 80-year-olds running for these seats. We want to have these 30-year-olds, getting crushed into there with new ideas, vibrant ideas and all that. But, it didn't come without critics as well. Some critics are saying, well, her father is heavily involved in the ZANU-PF. Can we really, trust her? I don't know. Maybe you guys on the panel have got more information that I don't have here. And also, this afternoon, we had Dr. Nkosana Moyo coming up and saying that he's going to run for president himself next year because he can't leave the country to go into the dogs like this anymore. He wants to fight and he wants to bring back Zimbabwe to where it was. So let's go in parallel with these two. Tiona kuti imimi munofungei ne these announcements. I want to start na Fadzayi Mahere there. If I may start with you, Rekaiti Tange nemi Chief Sose, what did you make of this announcement? For you, a refreshing or it's another pathetic path we are getting into?
I think we can label this year DJ Sodza a year rekuti us as Zimbabweans tive vanhu vanovhura maziso tisarambe tichidyiwa takasvinura sematemba. ZANU-PF always at every election season they always comes up with something, or they always come up with some people that they use to swing the election in their favor. Now, Mahere, let's have a fact file. And I'm not talking to the panel because I know the panelists, because DJ Sodza, I've spoken strongly against these activists. So I'm not talking to the panelists. I'm talking to the Zimbabwean people. And I want the Zimbabwean people to be the judges of what I would have said at the end of the day. They will decide whether Fadzayi Mahere is refreshing or not. Right, let's look at the effect file. Like you have already alluded to. The father is a former CIO, but we don't believe in anything called former. Once a CIO, always a CIO. And now he's a serving commissioner. That's a big position in ZANU-PF. So now we are talking of, we call them ZANU babies. She's a ZANU baby, you know. She's someone who benefited from the system and who probably is still benefiting from the system. She owns a mansion in Mount Pleasant. The kind of a life that she lives, no average Zimbabwean lives that kind of a life. She's a young lady who who can afford to take herself on holiday. Recently, she was in Spain. And en route to Spain to a holiday, she passed through the United States of America. That's the kind of a person, young lady, we are talking about. How does she afford to do all this? You know, how does she afford to do all these things? Yes, people can say she's working, she's doing that. She actually resigned from her job, but she still can afford to do all that. She was in Dubai 2 weeks ago, and I'm not saying this out of my lies because she flaunts all that. She flaunts all that on Facebook. You go to her Facebook.
Chief, ngatite discussion. Saka imi muri kutaura kuti kuva nemari kwake kwainako, that is put you off. You want someone.
I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to explain the point that I said she benefited from the system. It's probably still benefiting from that system, right? And then the second thing that I want to quickly say is Fadzayi Mahere, she claims to be an activist, yet at one time she represented Zim Papers. You know, Zim Papers, we all know that's the mouthpiece of propaganda of ZANU-PF, the Herald. How do you, if you are a true activist, you are standing for the people, you go and defend the very paper that is a propaganda mouthpiece for the ruling party? 3, right now, she has a lawsuit. Go to her page. She has a lawsuit that she is trying to file where she is saying biometric registration should be scrapped out. And what is she advocating for? She is advocating for munhu wese nechitupa chake. Munhu wese nechitupa chake. That's an old, outdated system that was used in 1980. And that's the one that she wants us to go back to. What does that do to us as voters? That person, I mean, what it means is ZANU-PF can start busing people. What it also means is dead people can go and vote. Honorable Monzora is on record, and other people as well, are saying he lost his seat in Manicaland because ZANU-PF was busing people, getting people from as far as Mozambique to come and vote in Zimbabwe. Now, if you allow the Munwesele Chitupa Chage, it means all ZANU-PF needs to do is to produce a lot of IDs, and they can do that. It's within their capabilities. Mudele is ZANU-PF. He can produce those IDs, and everyone has an ID, and everyone is voting for ZANU-PF.
Okay.
But that's what Mahere is advocating. And then lastly, I know, just the last point. This young lady is a liar. She's very dishonest. At one time, she was on Facebook. You can check her Facebook account. She was on Facebook, and she was accusing the MDC mayor, Ben Manyenye, of earning a ridiculous amount, of over 500,000. And that was a lie. And she went on Facebook, she went on paper, she went on social media, and she was attacking the MDC, she was attacking the mayor. But she had not gotten her facts right. It was not right. Only to prove later on that Manyenye doesn't even earn that much. He earns well less than $5,000 a month. So if it's up to the Zimbabwean people, everything that I've said, it's up for them to decide whether Fadzayi Mahere is refreshing. She calls herself independent. How independent is she? Is she really independent? I don't think so.
Aha, Aywa. It looks like Mimi. You don't think this is refreshing. You think there's something fishy going under the carpet there. I want to hear from a woman's perspective of things. Let me go to you, Sally, there. Do you think this is refreshing? Because from my discussion with you in the background, it looks like you are really supporting this young lady.
Who did you ask?
Yes, you, Sally.
Ah, sorry. I was sorting my son out. You know what? It comes a time in life, okay, where you've got to try and see things in a big picture, okay? And this doom and gloom and all the stuff about people, all right? I'm really tired of it. Right, she wants to stand for Mount Pleasant as an independent. I love independents. I think they are the answer to so much, okay? I wish there were no political parties. I hate political parties. I hate the concentration of power in one place, okay? So independence, that I support. She wants to stand for Mount Pleasant. That's where she grew up, blah, blah, blah. Brilliant idea. She knows the layout. She knows the people. She knows what is needed and everything, okay? She's very nicely presented. I like the way that she presents herself. I like the way that she talks. I like the way that she thinks. She's got a history. Hey, sunshine, we all got a history. All of us. And I tell you something, if she is brave enough to stand up as an independent, knowing that the people are going to point at her father and her history and activists, you know what? There wouldn't be freedom in this world if there weren't activists. End of story. Mm-hmm. Okay, because activists are what hold governments to account.
Okay, right.
So this putting down of activists all the time is a load of nonsense.
It's a lot of nonsense.
So I do. Look, there's nothing wrong with being weary. But let's stop being stupid and being stuck in this place. Okay? Because their father was so-and-so. You never know. Voting for her to deal with Mount Pleasant might be the best thing that's ever happened to Mount Pleasant.
It might be. But Sally, if someone comes up and say, Bona Mugabe is going to run for Mahere constituency as an independent, would that raise eyebrows?
Of course it's going to raise eyebrows.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I want to respond to that because what Sally is saying is not right. You cannot use the word stupid, you cannot use the word silly, simply because I pointed out some facts. These are facts, these are not manufactured allegations. So for you, Sally, to come on radio and say
all the facts you want,
silly, okay? I think that's not right. I think that's not right. We are just discussing here. I'm saying my point of view, and I am entitled to that. I'm entitled to that. Say whatever you want to say, but
okay.
Don't refer to what I'm saying as stupid.
Okay.
Because this is about Zimbabwe. This is about Zimbabwe. This is not about yourself.
Okay. Hold on, Komatawanda. Hold on, Komatawanda. Sally, Komatawanda. We should refrain from using words like stupid and all these kind of things. What you say about that?
I never named him. I never said his name. Okay.
Okay.
I have said what I wanted to say. He said what he wanted to say.
Yeah, but I didn't insult anyone. You are insulting the people of Zimbabwe. You are saying that.
You people. Stupid is a word, an English word. If you say something stupid, what else do you want somebody to say? It is stupid. Okay, just understand that it's a language problem. Okay, It's
Okay.
not you who is being called stupid. It's the
No, I didn't say that.
No.
I don't care if she calls me stupid.
I'm trying to help you here. I am trying to
No,
help you here. No, I am
No,
trying to
no.
help you.
Regai sekuru vataure mukoma.
I am trying to help you. When if you are a father, mwana akaita zvakaipa unomuudza kuti putsaka. Hazvirevi kuti iputseke mwana iyeye. Handiti uri kuti zvaaita zvakashata. So it's the same way they use the word stupid in English. When you say something that is not acceptable to somebody, they might say it's silly or stupid. But that doesn't mean you are silly or stupid.
Yeah, Sekuru, if something is not acceptable to anyone, you don't say it's silly. You don't say it's stupid. Let's respect each other here. Let's have, lines that we don't cross.
I never mentioned you. I never mentioned your name. I respect you. You are disrespecting me and trying to tell me what I must say.
Sally, can I just help you here? The problem is not the fact that she has called you stupid. It's a cultural problem. The problem is the way we say things in Shona might not be acceptable to another language. In the English language, they talk about a lot of things that is totally abhorrent to us as Africans. Think about the anatomy issues.
Yeah, this is the reason why I said I'm not addressing the people.
Okay, all right. Okay, guys. Okay, guys.
I knew I was going to get this kind of response.
Okay, right.
That's what
Mukoma so Fadzayi.
Have this show going, please.
Batai makadaro. Sekuru.
Yeah.
Sekuru ndipewo mhinduro yenyu. Munofunga here imimi kuti kuisa zvakaitwa naFadzayi Mahere kuisa zita rake muheti rekuti amiririre Mount Pleasant kunovakwa akazvarwa akakurira akafunda achiri kugara izvi as an independent, is that refreshing or not for Zimbabwe? That's the question here. We need to move on.
In my own view, it's an ill-advised, stupid misadventure on a part, because she has chosen the wrong route into the political limelight. She started as an activist, and she should have grown into a political activist within a political organization. If she thinks she is smarter than all political organizations, that she will outwit them in an election, then she has got a lot coming her way. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not about her, it's about her decision-making process. As far as I'm concerned, Fadzayi Mahere is not fit to be a representative in a parliament because she represents class. And any person who represents class is not fit in my bender because I am of the lower class. So anybody who comes in from an elitist point of view and creates that class divide becomes an opponent, a political opponent for me. And I will not spare my words and mince them. I will do all in my capacity to try and stop her from being elected.
Ayiwa, Sekuru, very well said there. Thank you so much. Let's see here from a woman's perspective of things. Teteno Mazulu, what's your take on this one? A development that you think it's a wonderful stuff for you women and also for young people in Zimbabwe, or you don't think this is good at all? She should not have done what she'd done.
Well, I think it's refreshing to have her as a candidate for MP candidate. You know, we always wanted new names. So Mahere is a new name here, and she's young. And well, she chose Mount Pleasant, where an area where equally elite, just like herself. So you know what? We grow in politics. You know, with all her background. You know, if her father is, from CIO and so forth. You know, you can't attach her personal development to her father. You know, she's a grown-up person. I think she knows what she's doing. You know, we grow. I can imagine when I was her age, yeah, I had to grow. Even if she lost those elections in Mount Pleasant, in 5 years' time she will come back. You know, she will have grown then. You know, so let's give these young people a chance to grow, not to crush them on the, you know, from the onset. I won't vote for her if I was in Mount Pleasant, certainly not. But what we are simply saying is we just want new names. Yeah, you know, with these old names all the time. It's Priscilla, Nishaira, it's Tokozani Kupe, it's Maim Juru. We are sick of them. So let's have new names, you know, in the political platform. And and give them a chance.
No, so why wouldn't she vote for her?
No, okay.
That is my personal. It's very personal. Why I won't vote.
It's very personal. Okay. No, thank you so much. For the benefit of moving on, we've got other people who wants to participate and they want to move on to another topic. I want to go kuna Mkoma Benford. Mkoma Benford kwa America huko. Can you tell me in short what you thought about this announcement yourself? Refreshing or not really?
You know, my job as a DJ Sodza, I wouldn't call it refreshing, but there is nothing wrong with that decision. To start with, Fadzayi Mahere is the constitutional right. And I agree with what Tetinomas will say. We cannot start therefore you should not have any leadership position in Zimbabwe. Fadzayi Mahere is an independent person who might actually have views that differ from her father. This notion yokuti kana munhu uchingwa mwana weZANU tese takakura tiri maZANU PF when we were growing up, takazvarwa tiri muZANU PF, and we also all of us benefited from the ZANU PF system. Takaitwa chikoro neZANU PF tadzidziswa ivo vana mukoma dzoka vari kudai vakadzidziswa neZANU PF, so we all
benefited neZANU PF in
wakaenda kuchikoro cheZANU PF, so we cannot
no aina ndikakuita chikoro cheZANU
okay. Okay, right. Mkoma Benford, for the benefit of moving on. Vanasekuru na Mkoma Tawanda vari kuti havana kuenda kuchikoro cheZANU, they paid their fees and all that, so let's move on from that one. Endelea zvingibeni.
Right. Atingavanyarika ndichitaura.
Usataura zvikunyepa.
That's your views. No,
I never went to a ZANU PF school. I never got paid by ZANU PF. Nothing.
Because Mukoma
Benford, tipe point here. No, okay, all right, go ahead.
Let me finish. So my point is, Fadzayi Mahere is made a decision that is Kukambera, and she chose the area Yano Zikano because she knows constituency my chances winere or win. So I don't see anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong, with that.
Okay, that's fine.
And the link a certain political party and stuff like that. It's neither here nor there in as far as I'm concerned. So it's actually good that we have a young lady who also wants to participate, and she has shown, the kind of person she is when she was representing that as a lawyer, and I think she has the intelligence to bring change to our parliament. So on that note, I think it's good that she's taking that position.
Okay, Aiwa, thank you so much, Mkoma. Mkoma Wilbert, ku Manchester, what's your take on all this?
Personally, I think if we are going to accept that we are a democratic country, we have got to also accept that there will be an open door policy. Anybody who wants to contest in an election, they've got the right qualifications, they are a citizen of Zimbabwe, etc., etc., then they can contest. My only contention with her, for instance, would be at the present moment, with the present political system, the elections themselves, we have already said, I think somebody who spoke on earlier on was talking of Douglas Monzora having people passed from Mozambique. So elections are rigged. In this particular case, does she know how they are rigging the system? Because how would you participate in an election that you know is going to be rigged and waste your time and your money and the energy and etc., participating in an election that is going to be rigged? So that is my only big question mark. But in this particular case, if it was a democratic system, if she is no good, the people themselves will make that decision, will make that judgment. The people in Mount Pleasant will be able to say, no chance, we don't want you to represent us, because it's a democratic system. It's open, and she's able to present herself and what she stands for, etc., etc. So I think that is my only big issue. Let's make a democratic system and let the people themselves decide.
But by the virtue of that, this is a young woman. She's only 33. And she's a woman as well, for that matter. We want to encourage women to get into power. Is that refreshing in your refreshing?
Well, I personally, I've always said, even on this program, that I think we should not have all this hang up about age. People will judge you on the basis of what you're contributing. Remember Mugabe, at one time he was young. He wasn't born 93 years old. So we should not have all this hang up. When he was young, he still made a mess of things. Zimbabwe will not be in this kind of mess if the mess started soon as he got into power in 1980. And he's been making a mess of things ever since. And he was young then, but it didn't matter.
Okay.
Even now he's old, he's still making a mess. So I don't think the emphasis on age, sex, region, tribe, I think that is a wrong emphasis. She should be judged on the basis of what she is going to contribute.
Yeah, and what is she bringing on the table?
Yeah, and that alone. If you start judging on the basis of age or sex and so forth, you've lost the plot. Because that is not what you should judge the person for. Okay, the person is only elected for 5 years. He's not going to run a 100-meter race against some of these Olympic gold medalists, where you can say, well, you will not be able to run. You are sitting there coming up with ideas on how the country can move out of this mess, for instance. People who have got the energy to come up with those, who have got the brains to come up with those ideas, will vary from, I think in our country we are saying that you can be elected a member of parliament from the age of 18 to the age of whatever. And I think that's the right policy. We should just judge somebody on the basis of what they are contributing, not which part of the scale you are on the age group.
Okay, thank you so much, Mkoma Wilbert, for that. We'll come back to you with the next topic.
Yes, DJ.
Mkoma Teach, can you switch off your radio, please, then?
My radio is not on.
Yeah, but we are hearing feedback from them.
It's not me.
It is you.
Tell me off and see if it stops.
Right, it's gone now anyway. Right, Vapepe, please, I want to hear yours on this. What did you make of it? Is it a refreshing thing for our country, or you've got your resentments?
Right, I've got my resentment to it, but my resentment will be different to the others. It is a democratic right She has got the right to exercise it, to contest any election and any constituency. I also note that there is political hyper in Zimbabwe as we draw near to 2018. There are two schools of thought that I've observed. One, it might be that it is a sign of impatience with the regime, with ZANU-PF. If that is the case, then it's a welcome gesture. It may be that Zimbabweans, we are actually selfish and power hungry, in which case we are only making the problem worse. Where we are supposed to unite, we are choosing to be individualistic. But back now to the question, Fadzayi. I think what I would want Zimbabweans out there to look at it is that I want the Zimbabwean voters to be the jury. They need to look, between now and 2018, there will be a lot of people who come to them soliciting their votes. There will be a lot of people who will be sponsored by ZANU-PF, and there will be a lot of political parties that will be sponsored by ZANU-PF in the name of democracy. Remember, ZANU-PF is not just lying down. They are not finished as yet, and they've got the money that they've looted that they will use to buy votes at every twist and turn, and at every cost. So the time will tell. But what I want Zimbabweans to do is to meticulously evaluate the background, the motive, and the political ideology of all those people who are coming to them soliciting for their votes. And if they believe and they see it fit, then of course, right, it is entirely democratic space, although we know very well that ZANU-PF is not allowing that democratic space. But from an opposition point of view, all what we are saying is it is in the interest of Zimbabweans to look at political parties rather than individuals, because individuals won't form a government. Political parties have got policies. Political parties have got the structure and the infrastructure to move the country forward. And this is where we are saying, yes, if the independents will come, independent, candidates will come, and they, and by now, I can assure you that the decision by Fadzayi is also going to energize a lot of people to go independent. Who are we to say they mustn't? It is their democratic right. But I think it's up to us, with the politicians, to then convince the voters that we are still relevant. Yes, so that's my contribution.
That's your contribution. Thank you so much for that, Vapepe. Mkoma tiche maswera seiko. Tatsina kukwazisa kai.
Aswera amu Nkoma Sodza, maswera wenye.
Kokuro wakudai muno pamaroera mu London.
Ingo yesama kai tinotamba nemvura.
Abangu chirandu imi. All right. Azvina kuipa. Mkoma tiche, here is the issue we've got here. Fadzayi Mahere, I know you've spoken very highly of her in the past. That you were following her maturing, with her journalism and all this kind of stuff, and he was doing a lot of work on Facebook, interviewing people and all that, and you thought it was refreshing. Do you think this is refreshing by announcing her candidacy to run for her constituency, Mount Pleasant, where she was born and where she lives?
I think you use the word refreshing in a very pedestrian fashion.
Okay.
Like she's some ground-breaking new breed or something. I don't think that is the case. But in terms of civic society activism during this flag, I think he did very well in bringing back passion to the national agenda and national issues. I think that's as far as I was. For her to come and join the fray and decide that she's going to run for MP for her own home constituency, I have absolutely no qualms about it. Absolutely 100%. She is going to be coming up against a ZANU-PF candidate, against Tendai Biti, and probably against an NPP candidate. So at the end of the day, it's only one constituency. And if she was an agent provocateur, she can't do much from running for a single constituency. Much is being made about her father. She is not her father. Her father is who he is. We all know he's a long-serving Mugabeist. There's no question about it. We also expect and understand that his influence on his daughter goes without saying. That's normal. That's it. Fadzayi Mahere is just going to run for a constituency in Mount Pleasant, which she is unlikely to win as far as I can look at it and appreciate based on the last voting patterns. We know that the ZANU-PF tried to bust people into Mount Pleasant to rig BT, and they were caught out. There is no harm in her coming in, whether she is a detractor or not a detractor. The problem that we're having in Zimbabwe is we are a nation in mourning. I see it as a situation whereby anything ZANU-PF just raises the ire of everyone. It's no longer, it doesn't have to be rational. There's no common sense about it. Whether Fadzayi Mahere has done this, that, and that is neither here nor there. I have actually taken time to just look her up, and I know that she studied at some point in the Netherlands. And the people there I talked to said she was a very well reserved, good-mannered child during that time when she was younger. So she may have developed her own independent streak. And the father may be smart enough to allow that, like some of us do, that our children can actually argue with us and support a different football team within the household. And we laugh at them when they lose, they laugh at us when we lose. And that's the way it is. The political parties that are going to be contesting with them are free to use the ammunition that is being peddled against him. Not to be saying, why is she coming? She's a ZANU-PF agent. If we all know who these ZANU-PF agents are, let's use that knowledge to defeat them. Because if you know they're ZANU-PF agents, why are you worried? You already know. The problem is when you don't know. So if you guys know they're ZANU-PF agents, then strategize to be ready for them. You can't continue to be saying every entrant is a threat on the basis of being a ZANU-PF plant. There are so many ZANU-PF plants. For crying out loud, with all due respect, Mr. Tsvangirai still lives in an unresolved state house. Are we going to call him a ZANU-PF plant? It doesn't make any sense. But I'll tell you one thing, Nkosana. If Fadzayi Mahere had joined NPP, we would be celebrating. If she had joined MDC, we would be celebrating. This is the problem in Zimbabwe. It's unfortunate. As far as I'm concerned, it's a non-issue.
Thank you so much. Maybe people will just she will be defeated at the ballot paper if people have got
an insignificant one.
Yes, it's insignificant one. But anyhow, the next topic we want to talk about is Professor Nkosana.
Zimnet Radio, the people's internet radio station with the people's favorite DJs. Stay tuned.
Make the whole world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
Imuweza wedu weZimbabwe kuvira kuvata mbezi kusvika papo navakungamiri.
It is a Thursday, and you know what that means. It's a men's corner show with yours truly, DJ Sodza.
Right, okay, today, so to contact us. I don't know, a bit of a problem. I can't take your call at the moment, but I'll keep trying to get you on as well. Just give me 2 seconds. But zvisinei, right, regai nditange nemukoma teach there because ndatanga wani kumwe ndapinda kwa ndatanga ndiri. I want to know the announcement that we've had this morning from Dr. Nkosana Moyo. Refreshing?
No. If anything, this is undermining the opposition. That's my personal. I can't see him winning in hell. He's simply got no chance. I know he's going to be like a lot of other candidates that will try to rely on a certain perception. That perception will not work. You appointed him a Minister of Trade and Commerce. You probably wouldn't know him. So at the end of the day, he prayed enough to write his resignation whilst he was on the run. Why would he be strong enough to come and challenge the same man who he could not challenge or even face down when he decided that what they were doing was not in line with his thinking? How does he come now and suddenly change? Who is he? You know, people don't know who he is other than the fact we know him as one of many Zimbabweans that worked for the IMF, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the International Finance Corporation. Lately, he has been an advisor to various corporates in the London Stock Exchange and within the London political establishment. So, who is he? You know, I'm just saying from a purely Zimbabwean context, Nkosana Moyo has no chance of winning. And this has got nothing to do with anything else other than that politically, he is a very lightweight. He is not going to be looked at. It's going to take a lot for him to convince Zimbabweans that he is worthy their vote. There will be this same type of elitist civic society activists who will gravitate towards him naturally because they're symbiotic. So he will definitely have the support of our display and all these little civic movements that were relying a lot on donor funds to fund their projects, etc. But to say that he's going to have mass gravitas, I want you to quote me today for myself. Nkosana Moyo is not even going to be anywhere near what Zimbabwe achieved in 2008. 100%.
That was my question. That was my next question. That is this another Zimbabwe trying to just get some votes there, knowing fully that it.
This is my point, Nkoma. Finish it, my cousin in Blawa was saying. No, he's not going anywhere. He is going to get a lot of sympathy votes. He's going to get a lot of what he thinks is coming to him, but it will only come from the usual suspects, the civic society activists that are big on the internet and very small on the ground. This is self-deception of the highest order. If Nkosana Moyo wanted to get into politics, he should either have joined the MDC as the major opposition party. As soon as he decided he wasn't going to work with ZANU-PF, and as soon as he decided he was going to go into politics, people will say, hey, people, it's democracy to do that. Yes, that's what we're discussing, democracy. The clever thing in the democratic dispensation would have MDC, you would have risen through the ranks quickly because they have recognized his work. Right now, MDC cannot sell him, they will be undermining him. NPP cannot sell him, they will be undermining him. ZANU-PF West, they will be just going through him like hell. He has no chance. He's a good man. You don't get me wrong. He's a good man. I love him. I think he's one of those people you want as ministers in a cabinet, and they can deliver as a minister in terms of international business and all that. Yes. But to say he can come and be president of Zimbabwe, that's just lying to himself. 100%.
Aiwa. Mashoko akanaka. Thank you so much Mkoma Teach for that. Ndataura ndikudzoka nekumasure saka ndakuenda panemi Mkoma Pepe. What did you make of this announcement this afternoon that Nkosana Moyo is now throwing his name in the hat to be the president, maybe to be the next president of Zimbabwe?
Yeah, to be honest, DJ Sodza, I didn't expect it. I think I agree with the Teach. You're going to, I mean, the way he left his ZANU-PF, people had him, just like the way Simba Makoni left his ZANU-PF. I think you remember that Simba Makoni left his ZANU-PF at a time whereby within ZANU-PF, I contest against Robert Mugabe. Simba Makoni had also delivered as the Secretary General of SADC. So in a way, Simba Makoni had actually a better chance of being a president than Nkosana Moyo. But what we saw, sometimes it's easy to be to sort of misjudge when you are in the midst of a group. This is why we find good Simba Makoni Paakaita stand alone. ZANU-PF is sort of, because my weakness is the AKSIS, and at the end they tore him apart. And we saw the rest is history. Simba Makoni at the moment failed even to raise. Now, here comes Nkosana Moyo. Nkosana Moyo, if he was serious in wrestling power, I talked about in terms of ideology. We don't know what his ideology is. But I don't see him coming up with a political ideology totally which is a vigil from the current political parties in Zimbabwe, over 30 or 40 of them. He would have joined any mainstream political parties and he would still be commanding that, maybe eventually to become even the vice president, and later on maybe the president with the time. But this decision that he made today, of course, the problem, he has got sort of advisors, and he might have also advisors and sponsors. But as a politician, you are as good as your advisors. If your advisors are, you advise you, and you have no way of making your own personal judgment based on the advice, then it is easy to go astray. It might be that, yes, this is a sort of a critical analysis that we are doing based on the climate of politics. It might turn out that he might perform differently. I will assure you that I don't see that happening, that he can come up with a miracle. which other mainstream political parties at the moment are not doing or have not done. A political party that is going to emerge victorious or to unseat that will be a political party with grassroots structures. A party that is with the people. Any of these elitist political parties fought on the basis or fought on the historical perspective without connecting with the grassroots. I can assure you, that's a waste of time.
Okay, that's a waste of time. So you don't think this is a great idea that Nkosana Moyo decided to join in? Some people are saying that look at Emmanuel Macron in France, look at Donald Trump. These were people that just came from the trenches and wrestled power. But people are quick to counteract that and say, well, Zimbabwe is a different animal altogether when you are talking of political landscape there. Let me go kunemi Mkoma Wilbert. Mkoma Wilbert, Murimo Manchester. Can you maybe come up tomorrow and say kuti makundo contest or with a president ku Zimbabwe? Who can stop you? What do you think of this Nkosana Moyo now wanting to be president and contesting next year? And he was so late to throw his name in the hat. That's what people are worried about. Are you worried, Mkoma? Mimi, it's refreshing kuti it is democratic right, and it's refreshing kuti some people that are coming from outside to take over. What's your take, Mkoma Wilbert?
Well, to be quite honest, actually, Nkosana Moyo, probably of the politicians who are on the stage right now, on the political stage, he probably has got more merit than most of them. A lot of them are on the stage and they've got a lot of baggage from the past. A lot of them cannot, in all honesty, stand up and say they are not corrupt and they are not incompetent. And if it was a free, fair, and credible election, and we have got the kind of free media as you have in America or democratic countries, and he was on the stage with the other fellow candidates, I think he will perform a lot better than most of them. I think he is, in a way, going to really push some of the candidates to realize that it's not going to be a walk in the park. My main problem with his announcement is that he should know that the elections are not going to be free, fair, and credible. And that is what surprised me, because if you know the elections are not going to be free, fair, and credible, you know, Kuti, your qualities do not count for anything. The fact that he can articulate on policies that can help get the country out of the mess they are in, it doesn't matter, because if the elections are going to be rigged, they will be rigged. So the people who do the rigging do not listen to your policies, do not listen to what you're offering them. The promises that some of the main parties like ZANU-PF have been promising 2.2 million, even when they made those promises, they knew they didn't have to deliver them because they're going to rig the elections. So this is where the catch is. So in his case, I'm disappointed that somebody of his quality, of his caliber, would have said he's going to contest the elections as it is now. I expected him to have said, I'm not going to contest these elections until we have implemented the democratic reforms to make sure that the elections are free, fair, and credible. Because that would have really put the pressure on ZANU-PF to implement the reforms. One of the things that ZANU-PF is feeling right now, and I think somebody referred to it when we're talking of Fadzayi earlier on, is that they're really now under pressure to show the next elections next year when they are held, they are credible. Because one of the things that they do is they rig elections, but they've got to hide and make it appear as if it was fairly democratic, and there was some competition there. If the opposition is discredited to the point where even outsiders can see there was no competition here, people are saying, no, we are sick and tired of being frog marched to attend your rallies, frog marched to go and vote. And particularly now, I think this coming year, for instance, you find ZANU-PF is not going to use violence like they did in 2008, but what they are going to use is some of those billions of dollars they've been looting from Marange and Chiadzwa to buy votes. And they're already doing it right now. Tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, President Mugabe is supposed to be in Masvingo, where they've already bought, is it 20,000 stands for these youths. They've got the money to do so, and they can start developing them so that they encourage, because he definitely needs, now that he has lost the war veterans, he needs some of these future parties. I know they have that kind of money.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not going to compete. This is why it is important that we have got people like him in. But the only problem, like I said, he should not have stood in this election and until there were meaningful democratic reforms.
Right.
Because
So,
he will only lose it.
All right, Mukoma Wilbert, let me just ask you a question. We want to move on. A lot of people are waiting to participate as well. But I've got a burning question I want to ask you. You're saying that Nkosana Moyo should have just come up and say, I would have liked to participate and to throw my name in the hat to become the next president of this country. But because there's no reforms, I'm refraining from doing that. I'm not going to throw my name into it. You think that was going to give ZANU-PF sleepless nights?
No, in this particular case, what you would have said is, I am going to participate in the elections, but I'm going to push first and foremost for the reforms, democratic reforms, to be implemented so that the elections are free, fair, and credible. And any elections that are being held now before the reforms are implemented, they are totally meaningless. They are not going to be free and fair, and there is no credibility to them, which is the same position that SADC actually told MDC. They could confirm that. MDC leaders were told in June 2013, a month before the elections, do not participate.
We are tired of that line. We
Right.
read it.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You may be tired of it, but it is still a historic fact.
Okay.
It is a historic fact. You cannot change it.
All right.
Just
Thank you.
as ZANU-PF rigs elections, we know we have said it before, but it is a historic fact as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Mukoma Wilbert. We can never get tired of that, and I'm sure you're not gonna let that lie until these reforms are implemented and there's fair and free elections back home, where everyone can participate without any fear of rigging. But we want to move on. Mukoma Benford, what's your take on this one? Nkosana Moyo, refreshing?
Not quite I wouldn't say refreshing, but let me explain what I mean. This is the sad part about politics. Dr. Nkosana Moyo is the best candidate there. And he is the candidate you would desire and about leading the country of Zimbabwe. But unfortunately, I agree with what Mukoma Tichi and maybe perhaps Rape said earlier on. He's not going, and it is for him in terms of particular my vote. With Dr. Nkosana Moyo was never ZANU-PF. People should remember, invited in Mugabe's cabinet as a technocrat. He was not voted by any, in any election. And while it was great that he abandoned ship when he realized that what ZANU-PF policies were not taking the election anyway, Canada go Africa Development Bank and stuff like that. What I can only say though, DJ Sodza, is if Anachangirai, Nana Maimujuru, are really serious about the people of Zimbabwe, like they say, that what matters to them is the people. Here is a candidate you can rally behind for coalition yavo. If there's any coalition ingaitwa, this is the candidate unogona kusupportwa nemunhu wese. He's coming, he's untended. Ana all this bickering about he belongs to that political party, we're wrestling and stuff like that. And all the opposition parties could rally behind Dr. Nkosana.
Let's get this straight, Mukoma Benford. You are saying that they should now go kuna Nkosana Moyo and say, Nkosana Moyo, we want you to come here so that we can form a grand coalition, and we are putting you as our leader, as the person that everyone is going to vote for. That's your dream, is it?
If that would happen, DJ Sodza, that would be the best thing for Zimbabwe.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't Nkosana Moyo go into Maimujuru and Chankira and say, listen guys, let's have a conversation. Can I join you?
I don't know whether that is his intention or not. But that would be good. One other thing I wanted to say, DJ Sodza, with the timing, Dr. Moyo, he might be thinking ahead. Maybe he's not targeting 2018 as such, but he will throw himself in, get to feel the waters, and then start planning for 2023. I think depending on how he performs and the vision that is you project, he has a better chance in 2023 than 2018. Unless, like this coalition, if they decide to rally behind him, which would be fantastic.
All right, which would be fantastic. Thank you so much, Mkoma Benford. For those that are just tuning in, thank you so much. This is Zimnet Radio. We had two announcements this week. They're announcing that she will be contesting for vacant MP position in the coming 2018 election, and she will be representing Mount Pleasant as an independent. And now we want to go on to Dr. Nkosana Moyo. It's refreshing, but some have said categorically that he is never anything there in Zimbabwe, unless if he had joined some of the mainstream party, he can rise quite rapidly through the Nomazulu. Muchakamuka ere kuGermany. What time is it now? Is it after midnight?
Yeah, it's almost 12:30.
Aha, yes. Midnight, yes. And you are still alive and kicking there?
Yes, it's very interesting what you are discussing today.
So you think Nkosana Moyo is refreshing candidate ready to throw his name into the hat?
Well, let me start this way. Since 2001, I have been a fan of Nkosana Moyo. He has been my hero for quite a long time. But Nkosana Moyo disappointed me today, seriously. I looked at his announcing, his candidacy. I was very keen on that. I really listened each and every word. Now, what do I see from the panel? Yeah, it was a boys' club. There was not one single woman who was there. If you tell yourself for the past 17 years that this is my hero, and your hero disappoints you, Nkosana Moyo has got an international flag. He has worked in World Bank, he has worked everywhere else.
No, let me hold you there. I listened to it a little bit. I mean, I didn't listen to a word for word detail, but I listened to it a bit. He was asked about that question, and he said that if he wins this election, he will have 50% female and 50% male in his cabinet. So you have to give him that.
Look, my dear, that was his afterthought. But what did we see? So
you think this was a PR disaster? This was a PR disaster.
Let me speak.
Yeah.
my hero. Let's be clear about it. But he is my hero who is gender insensitive. Who is head of World Bank? Is it not Christine Lagarde? Now, what does he think about Zimbabwean women? You know, couldn't he have taken his wife Chico at least than to go all out boys club? Yeah, all out boys club, and then women are an afterthought. You know, because there is one very intelligent woman journalist who said, "Look, how is it going to be like?" Only then did he come back and say, "Ah, well, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, I will have a 50% cabinet if I win." You know, don't take women for granted. We are 52% in Zimbabwe. 52% of the population are women. You know, don't treat women the way, yeah? Please don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay.
I nearly went out of my skin, you know. One, because this man has been my hero all along. He still is my hero because the way he articulated his, you know, his policies, I think I enjoyed that very much. It's only that we know when we're looking, you're only seeing men. Is Zimbabwe composed of men? Only men. 52% of the women are, you know, first and foremost not there. They will come later anyway. Is that rhythm and grammar? You know? I know.
Right.
Let me not be.
You're not happy about that, but I know you're focusing on that a lot, Tete, but really, if you were in Zimbabwe for this election, would you cast your vote against the...
Definitely I will.
You would.
Cast my...
You would
yeah,
cast.
but I'll still thorn in his flesh. I'm telling you.
I
will cast my... I can vote for Nkosana Moyo anytime, but I'm going to be a thorn in his flesh.
All right. But do you think this was just a PR, you know, disaster? You know, he's not that bad. He doesn't...
Gender sensitivity is the buzzword internationally.
Okay.
You should know that himself because he, you know, he is not somebody. He is not Changirai. Yeah. He is not somebody who has always been at home, not exposed. This is a man with a maximum exposure, international exposure. Yeah. And then he brings his men around there. Yeah, and then he says, "I'm declaring my candidate, my president."
All right. Yeah, I'm off as a map. All right.
Are we not going to be very people who be dancing for him?
All right. Again, Maita thank you so much. I've got 4 other people still waiting there. I want to hear from Sekuru. I don't want to preempt anything. I probably know your answer here. Do you welcome Nkosana Moyo into the jungle?
Yes, I welcome him very much, and we want to punch his mouth and his nose politically, and teach him a lesson or two that you don't do cowardly things and then come and pretend to be savior. People are talking a lot of crap here. They tell us Nkosana Moyo is untainted. He is tainted.
How is he
tainted into a war cabinet? By he accepted it. When the heat was turned on, he ran away. He couldn't even tell his boss. He ran away and submitted his notice by fax. Now, what kind of a leader is that? We go to war with the country and the leader goes away and faxes us that we should surrender.
Seguro, what about a leader who won an election and then ran away?
That is what I am trying to say. You have been going on and on about that. About a person who didn't run away. He was actually hounded out, failed to get a passport because they would not give him a passport. was given asylum by somebody. What is there when negotiating his passport? And you are going on and on about this negative publicity stunt, which is very good for him because it keeps him on the limelight. But this one ran away and disappeared. He hibernated. He literally hibernated, only to resurface in 2017 and declare that he was to be our president. Me, my president who runs away like that.
So Sekuru, basically you don't think his candidacy is any relevant to you?
He is nothing. Let me tell you something. He goes to Mpandawana right now. Nobody will know what Nkosana Moyo is. Nobody. Now, Mpandawana, you have been there. It's quite a developed area. But they don't know who Nkosana Moyo is. How is going to win that? He is talking about having a cabinet of 50 men and women. But he doesn't have a single woman in his coterie of supporters and at launch. And he expects to pluck them out from these political parties that are going to win these seats. Because where is he going to get the people to put in his cabinet? He can't appoint all of them. He has got to take the elected ones. And these elected ones have been elected on a party ticket, which might cause him a problem because they might say we don't want to go there.
Yeah.
So how is he going to form the government? There's another stupid element that I have noticed developing on the Zimbabwean mind frame. That if Macron could do it, why can't we do it? Why can't Nkosana do it? The problem is you are comparing Mbudzi ne Sodza. Has compared, man.
Okay.
How do you do that and then claim to be so educated and so literate? You can't just compare a person who has been hiding somewhere and then come back to a country he has been exiled from, or self-exiled from, and then comes back and nothing happens to him, and then he makes the person he was depicting as look saintly because nothing has happened to him. So why was he hiding? What was he? Because like a comrade disaster where we go 10 years after the war. The same. And then the idea, Changrai, Mujuru, Makoni, BT, coming together, workmen coming together to deliberate, to deliberate in Nkosana Moyo is nauseating politically. Why should they even discuss him? He is nothing. He needs them more than they need him.
Yeah. Okay.
Why should they even talk about him for leadership? He hasn't even asked them for I said, why should they even waste their time? You think they've gone into to fight for Moyo to come and harvest? And you think they are politicians?
Yes,
I think they should bury him once and for all.
All right.
Useless. He's a divisive intervention. That's what it is.
Aiwa Sekuru. Zvanzi vane nzeve dzekunzwa unozvinzwira chiri murusakasaka chinozvinzwira. You have been very decisive there. Nkosana Moyo to you is nobody and is not going to win any elections here. Now next on the queue is Sally. Sally, do you know this guy called Nkosana Moyo?
No, I don't.
You don't. So basically you wouldn't vote for him if you were in Zimbabwe?
No. My big issue with him is, if he's so as a presidential candidate, that is something that really irritates me. Really irritates me. You can't come onto a political today and you come as a party, that's fine. You stand in elections and you're a new party, you're getting together followers and all that kind of business. That's come and declare your name in the... Come on. I'm one of the nosiest people around, okay? I'm always on the net, always searching stuff about Zimbabwe and stuff like this. And I thought, oh, is this Moyo's brother coming to run now? Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I did not know him. Okay, he might be a very good, but don't come and throw your hat in as presidential candidate. Start your and stuff like that. Once you established and people now know you. Okay, but really, it's ridiculous. Okay, so I mean, no, sorry. I'd rather vote for Fadzayi for Mount Pleasant.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Than voting for.
And number two, I do know who she is. I mean, for over a year now.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I know more or less what she's saying. Well, I don't know what she's saying. I know what she's portraying, what she allows us to see. Okay, but this one, I'm there with Sekuru's people there. Okay, in that rural area there. I don't know who he is.
Right, okay. No, that's fine. Sally, thank you so much. Maybe or two with Tete no Mazulu there to tell you who Nkosana Moyo is. I'm sure she will be glad to do that. And Chief Sose.
Yes.
Yes, this is a man who is exercising his democratic right to put his name in the hat there to contest for president. Refreshing for you, or it's another Simba Makoni trying to split the vote?
You just took the words out of my mouth. He's definitely another Simba Makoni. There's nothing refreshing about him. There's nothing refreshing or exciting about his entrance into Zimbabwean political arena. I welcome him, you know, but that's as far as my welcome to him, lasts, because, I'm always saying, I'm talking to the Zimbabwean people. I'm not talking to anyone here. I'm not here to make friends with anyone. I'm giving information to the Zimbabwean people to the decision on their own, you know. So to me, Nkosana Moyo is a deserter, just like Mahere. You know, when the going gets tough, someone runs away. He disappears. He comes back. What really has changed? Nothing has changed. You know, I listened to his interview. I listened to his launch. There was really nothing that separates him from all the other political leaders that we have, from all the 50 or so political leaders that we have. The presentation was bad. It was uninspiring. There is nothing that he said in that interview that you would say, this is the next president of Zimbabwe. To me, he doesn't even qualify. Maybe he would do better as a deputy minister or something like that, because he already failed as a minister when he ran away. At one time, he approached Transform Zimbabwe, and he wanted to join them, but he wanted to join only as a vice president, to be made vice president for the Matabeleland area or whatever, or to become president of that party. You know, a document right now, DJ Sodza.
Yeah,
you're going to go through it. That is coming from what happens, DJ Sodza, when someone gets into the political fray. We begin to judge him, you know, by the same barometer that we have been judging all the other leaders. We don't leave anything untamed. If you put your head in the ring, you say you want to be president of Zimbabwe, we begin to look at you, you know, critically. We look at your background, we look at your life, we look at everything. Gone are the days when we just take someone because he's wearing a suit, he's eloquent and he can speak. We'll look at you and we'll criticize you and we'll say whatever we want to say because you have put your head in there and we have begun to, and once we, and whenever we get information, we'll be giving it to the Zimbabwean who wants to be the president of Zimbabwe. This is what he is proposing in his wide-ranging document. He is saying the president will be paid 50,000 per year and in perpetuity. The vice president will be paid 225,000 per year and in perpetuity, $1 per year, and for 10 years after retirement, if they are not found guilty of abuse of power or corruption. Director generals will be paid US 180,000 per year if they 16 years in perpetuity. Deputy director generals will be paid 150,000 per year. ADG, whatever that means, will be paid. I'm telling you, this is what they are envisaging. This is the Zimbabwe that they are looking for. This is the person who people are saying should be the next president of Zimbabwe, who is proposing such ridiculous as poor as Zimbabwe. And he's coming in and he's saying, I want to refresh the Zimbabwean political arena. I want to come up. I mean, there's nothing that is going to offer to the Zimbabwean people that the other leaders who are already there can. So to me, just a waste of time. I suspect he's a project. He's just there to divide the vote. He doesn't care about campaigning. That's why he's coming this late. Nobody in his right senses would come and say, I want to campaign to be president of Zimbabwe 12 months before the election. How is he going to get Maruzevo? He will never get there because he never intends to get there. His intention is to divide the vote. Saka vanhu veZimbabwe ngatimukei, ngativhurei maziso.
Thank you so much, Chief Soswet there. Let me welcome my brother in. So,
hello?
Yeah.
Where is his manifesto? I would like to see that.
He will send to you. He will give you. You want him to be his president. You want him to be president of Zimbabwe. He's going to send you.
Yes.
If he is not going to Shikakuma Reserve, how is he going to be splitting the vote then?
How is he going to be what?
How is he going to be splitting the vote?
Oh no, I mean the vote that he has to split is the urban vote. That's the vote that you want to split. Not the urban. The rural one is fine. The is fine there.
Okay, all right. Moyo.
Ishe wangu makadini.
Tinofara chose Moyo. I don't suppose you've got any social has been saying that, or you think really he's got his democratic right to to become the next president of Zimbabwe, as you have Imimi wa Moyo?
Yeah, Zimbabwe, like I always say, being a constitutional democracy, I think it is everybody's right to decide what they want to do and what they don't want to do. Want to put his name in the head as well as he has done. I think it's welcome. It's a welcome development, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of his chances, this is a different story. I don't see him getting anywhere because he stand above anyone else, above any of the leaders of missed opportunity. This guy once had an government to serve the people. Agreeing or disagreeing was something else, but he should have, he should have used that opportunity for the people to remember him for something that he could have done in that government. He didn't, and he did not even attempt to do anything. He was appointed, and the last time people heard about him was his appointment. The next thing he was gone. So yeah, it's a case of a missed opportunity, and unfortunately, it's one of those things that we can never retrieve. That is a missed opportunity, which he did, and I don't think he will now be in a position to sell himself. A lot of people are saying, no, he has done well in the international, whatever it is, whatever that means. But international is international. He could be a very good guy internationally, but that does not translate to the voters, Vanambuya, Varkwamtoko, Vanasekuru, Varikudande, and all that. I mean, they don't know about these international things. They are worried about their own survival. So his credentials there, they would help him if he was looking for any other international position. But if it is the position of the Zimbabwean presidency, he has to contend the requirements and the yardstick thereof in terms of his suitability. Yes, he is allowed to contest as a Zimbabwean, because he's a Zimbabwean, just like anyone else. But his chances are the ones that are next to nothing. Because he cannot compete. I think that's what I can say for that.
Aiwa. Thank you so much for that. Come on. Maybe I think everyone is contributing, is coming through. This one is saying, thank you so much, Mkoma. So the show is very uplifting and educational. But mvunzo wangu ndio kuti makazopiwa here mbudzi yenyu nasekuru. What is all this now? One is saying, Mukoma, udzai sekuru. Ini ndakarerwa nasekuru, handina kumboudzwa izwi stupid. Ngawarerutse rurimi.
Akanzi stupid, stupid.
That's right. Then Kwanziko, I agree with Mkoma Benford. It's a high time our politics a new skin. If everyone wants to win in 2018 and bring about the change, I don't know the strategy as a voter for the coalition. Who is the presidential candidate? My grassroots in the rural area where I came from are asking this question, and in 12 months presidential election. How far with this grand coalition? Is it something that is going to happen, or it's dying down a little bit now? Because a lot of people have asked, it's dying down now. What is happening?
No, it's not dying. People need to understand that it is a process. The memorandum of understanding was okay. So that was a milestone. The rest is negotiations as we go towards the election. So it's the parties have actually had to start the whole process. So the process is a process. It's not an event. So it's not it's not something that has been abandoned. This is why the political parties themselves and the leaders, they put brave faces before the people of Zimbabwe against their own personal interests, and then agreeing that they will be working together in a coalition that was actually the biggest so far in the politics of Zimbabwe. Anything else in terms of the other, it's actually administrative issues they are now looking at, and both parties looking at the administrative issues as we go along. So yes, it is on, and it is a first record.
Thank you so much.
The Grand Coalition is dead and buried. It's not going to be. The sooner people forget about it, the better.
Okay, why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Moyo, are you the spokesperson, Moyo?
No, why do you say that?
Yeah, why do I say that? The reasons are simple and clear. In that, the leaders have been tearing each other. In fact, if you look at the two main actors, the ones who actually signed the first ones to sign the memorandum itself, be second best to the other, unless we are going to have two presidents at one time. And be that it may, this is a project that is more favored which is more favorable to the leaders, while their own followers were on the grass there. The two camps are not agreeing with their own leadership. So they have the problem of their own followers who are not agreeing with them, and they themselves are so assuming that something here will work out. It's like actually expecting, it's similar to expecting a pregnancy from homosexuals. Ndatopedza kuona kutaura zvakawanda here inongotaura zviri chedu sera.
Okay. Ndaitongwa pane zvine musoro zvomuda kutaura.
That's why ndapindira ndatati but Moyo naye.
Muda kutopindura zvisina musoro.
Aiwa unoda kupindurwa Moyo.
Sekuru please.
Toda kungoti
Moyo unozakira nzine negotiation.
So I just want to say something about what Mr. Pepe said.
Okay, Batai Makadara. Mukoma Tawanda, you want to say something?
And Mr. Moyo, I mean, contrary to what Mr. Moyo is dreaming, I mean, or daydreaming, I mean, the grand quality. But responding to Mr. Pepe, yes, I totally agree. This is a process, it's not an event. But at the same time, we, the citizens of Zimbabwe, will continue to shout from the terraces, from wherever we are, that these political leaders need to get on with it. You know, they can't sign MOU today and then go for another 2 months without signing another one, saying they're negotiating or whatever, for whatever reason. You know, it's like putting the people of Zimbabwe in a ledge. You know, the people of Zimbabwe deserve to know what's going on, and the earlier, the better. And that coalition is not just going to be a coalition. It is a coalition that has to come together and introduce itself to the people and come up maybe with one face and then campaign. A coalition is not just going to win votes on its own. It actually has to campaign, you know, and it's running out of time. We need them to get on with it and come up with a coalition as soon as possible so that the people of Zimbabwe know what.
I tried to answer over what you Varasa Quiet.
Another what you are Bozora. All right. 2 cents down. I agree with Moyo. Coalition is dead. It's not going to work. Then the other point, and no doubt, I want to make my comments on Tawanda about Dr. Moyo. You know, when we are presenting salary, that's not the way it's represented Dr. Moyo. We have to look at it. If he's going to grow the Zimbabwean economy so that it becomes maybe $100 billion dollar economy, why would it be impossible to president of Zimbabwe at the moment and to peg that salary 200,000 and say it's not going to work when he's there? It depends on the
be realistic. Be realistic.
What do you mean being realistic? It's being realistic.
Even the president of the United States is not paid that much.
And
he has to get the economy.
Please.
Anyway, don't need us good one for now. About this issue in coalition. What people truly do not understand, some people, is that the coalition is already there. Is missing is the formalization of the coalition. The formalization of the coalition is that to be put to paper. Nema contains I. But that information really won't change what is already there. The grassroots across these opposition parties is united in their belief and their of wanting to upstage ZANU-PF and replace ZANU-PF with a fresh in government. Now, if that is not a coalition to you, it's only because you want it written. But people will never write it. They will just tell you that we are going to vote against ZANU. That's it. So the coalition is there.
chanandichirambidzira serudavidza kana kuti tiende mberi nenyaya ndeyekuti inini pandandiri muZANU-PF, one of the biggest clever things political science is to be the one that sets the agenda. Ekuru kuti vadaire kuti munhu wandoziya ari apassion and falling into the simple trap it is so basic dzana Moyo idzi dzekungora zvaasinga inside knowledge. He is just going with whatever he thinks he has read. Masupporters MDC nemasupporters NP have every right to canvass for each and every one of their leaders. So for me, Tungabira coalition, so definitely say why should that be the case? Behind the scenes, some of us know that are being done as they should be. So kuti tidzwowo zvedu munhu weZANU achitototi takutoita ndozvandakuita aiwa.
Okay. Aiwa.
Asi nenzeve dzekunzwa ngavazwe. Vane nemapepa nyorai pasi zvandataura izvi. Tichazozvitaura zvakare 18 ari kuuya, tichazvitaura futi.
Sekuru ndozvandokuedza kukustopa izvo. Indomanaikaudzika nokuti it's so mediocre and childish. It's not really worth my time on the radio.
Right. Okay. Right. 7 minutes before midnight. Nyaya dzecoalition idzi kunza kuti where is it. I think kuti zvataurwa kuti these are strategic thing, and really it's not worth discussing. Yes, you can.
Nkosana ndigotora ndichipedza ndichidai. GM yatora mwedzi almost a whole yemwedzi nemwedzi nyika nenyika dzichichinjaniswa kwamboendwa kumaputo, kwaendwa kuSwaziland, kwaendwa kuSouth Africa, kwaendwa kuconference center muZimbabwe, and they were not even negotiating a coalition. They were negotiating a loser refusing to accept his loss. But in the end, there was a government of national unity. All MPs agreed to support a constitutional amendment that created the GNU and the position of Prime Minister Deputy Prime Minister. So, kutaura zvekutoti tikutaura zvedu vanhu vari kutowirirana with the common enemy vari kutoda moti hanzi zvinonetsa zvainegoshietwa republican zvaendwa mumaputo kunotaurwa zvataurwa tomonzwawo mapepa achitaura zvinhu tabvumirana kwakunovhoterwa kuparliament kuti constitution ichinjwe kuti zviite chii chingaita hakuna negotiatwa in public.
Asi wanga wataura zvakanaka pekuzopedzisira apa ndopawazokusuka wakura.
Ndovako matauriro enyu munogona kuzotaurawo nematauriro enyu imwe nguva.
Batai makadaro Tony, batai makadaro. Just hold on a second. I just wanted to see kuti zviri kuitika bana. Someone is trying. They've got some interesting stuff that they want to tell us. Hello, Bazimnet Radio. Hello. I guess.
Please leave your message for 214650600.
Right. Okay. Pamwe Nkosana Moyo ari kufuna. Regeti try futi. Right. Zvisinei. Zvatakuita panapa isusuka chirongwa tapedza. Regai tinzwe kuti vanodaira here foni dzawo. Titry muzoti handina kutry. Hello.
Hello, Zimbabwe Radio.
Yes, welcome to the show. We are 2 minutes before the end of the show. Can I help you?
okay, no, I guess ndafona kuti late. But Nikirakasi Makosa has kupinda directly
No.
from
No, that's why I had to call you back. Yes.
Oh, okay, so only Skype.
Yeah, only Skype. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Anyway, I will have to try back next week.
Oh, why do you always call when we're just finishing? Is it the time that you get free, or it's just to get under my skin? What's going on?
It just so happens that but ndozofunda kuti no nhasi pane show yekuzimnet panozozangu yangu inenge it will be 10 minutes before. It always happens that way.
Oh, right, okay. How unfortunate. Anyway, zvamungangoita manje kana mamusina kuteerera show?
Ndisina kuteerera.
Alright. Tichakuisirai pawebsite yeZimnet. Mukaenda pawebsite mongopressa pakanzi men's corner inenge yapo by Saturday afternoon. And
okay, no problem.
It will be just go and type DJ Sodza there, and it will be
okay.
there. You know this guy called Nkosana Moyo?
Yeah, I've been reading about him and the whole presidential run thing.
Would you like him to would you like him to become the president?
Now I'm very undecided on that. I haven't really dug deep into it for me to be able to make a decision. But he sounds like he would make a very sound president. But
I thought he was Zanu.
I'm non-partisan. So anyone who will make Zimbabwe great. That person, I think I would encourage people to vote for that person, whether if that person has the potential to turn Zimbabwe around, then people should vote for that. And that's just my take on it.
What about Fadzayi Mahere? I know you probably have read something about that she wants to contest there to Mount Pleasant. Refreshing for you?
Run in Mount Pleasant. To be honest, I can't really speak on Fadzayi because I haven't really dug deep into it. There's so many controversies surrounding these things and so many things you read. So I don't want to make an unbiased, a biased judgment on that, on Saka.
So you don't want to support her by the fact that she's young, almost same and she's a woman, and you can always, your counterpart?
Reasons why you should support someone, the fact that or whatever, those things potentially turn around whether that person is young, old, or whatever. That's how I would look at it. There's the potential to make Zimbabwe great, and turn around the economic situation. The parties, I just feel like my party, my labels, and so forth. I know potential you could turn around, but that person belongs to a particular party. People will not vote for that individual, even though they have potential to turn things around.
Those are wise words, sisters. Those are very wise words.
Thank you, DJ.
Vadare vangu vanga vari papa nhasi matibatsira kuti tive nechirongwa chakaisvonaka kudai. Muchipo here teta?
Hello?
Muchipo here pano vari kubvunza kuno kwanzi tetawo zita ravo vanonzani uye wakawanikwa here?
Don't be sweet. Ndakawanikwa.
Aiwa, ndatenda zvaka.
Kune mukoma Sodza kuwanikwa vanogona kunge vakawanikwa kuvakaroorwa here.
Moyo atanga. Saka ndiri handizoti ndakunovata.
Hey, Moyo, leave Trish alone, okay?
But my final say is this evening on this issue, it's their democracy. It's their democratic right to go and campaign and win. Vanhu vakaita vanenge vachiratidza potential yokuda kuita leadership vanopinda stage or level yakava nepotential to do great things, risk being away kumabanks chakutsosakwa kumashure zvokuti vamwe vacho havatorikavi. All I'm saying is when we are going into politics, tanga wastadya zvinhu zviri kuitika, uona kuti chii chiri kuitika, uchibatsirwa nevamwe vakazviona kare. You see, we are not teach, we are not able to prepare.
Can I say something?
Okay. Right. Guys. Right.
If we can well, all these things, what you need to know about politics is it's not something that you are born with. It's something that you're going to learn from one Wagambo experience or something. It's a hard game because Fadzayi
No, listen, I want to say something, okay, about this business of supporting somebody. Doesn't matter what party they come from, if they can get the country. The problem with that, if that person belongs to a party, they can only do so much. The party is the one, okay, that, because if they get voted in and their party gets into parliament, even from, they live in a way, okay, to the party's vision. The party is the one. So no, if a guy even from ZANU-PF comes and says, and you know that he can carry the country forward.
Zvakanaka nomuripo waikugusai nasi mazonzenda uyende takashanda zvakakwana mwana we akuziriko kuguma kweupenyu namangwana zvichanaka tinokanga maziri.
The ultimate hit music station, Zimnet Radio, blending the hottest audio.
Better music. We have seen better things. We've been to it all. Zimnet Radio, all the way. Zimnet
ndiko kutarira ramangwana rinouya.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this entertainment. Now stop messing
yapinda mumba urwereyere wakubata rufuyere wapa moyo wayenda akuziriko kuguma kwa upenyo nyamangwana zvichanaka tinokanganwa zviri shure kunanavira zviri mberi tariro ndiko kutarira ramangwana rinouya.